we take you down onto the track for our opening ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. Please remove your hats.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous flight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Turn 3 Racing Network, as tonight we are here with OP Racing Premier Series as they bring you the Bumpy Road 250, the first one here in the season, and it is always one of the most looked forward to races all season long. Thank you very much for joining me. My name is KR Stolfus. In the booth with me here tonight is none other than Dawson Wise. Dawson, how you doing, bud?
Well, I'm doing pretty good, KR. I'll tell you what, honestly, a little bit tired if I'm being completely honest, but hey, we're here. They're going to put on a show. They're going to wake me up real quick, I think, probably within the first half a lap or so, knowing this track.
That they are, so let's get right into the starting lineup, and I will make sure we get through this as fast as possible. Hunter Reynolds with pole position at a 52.182 to his outside, Steve Karosik. Sebastian Marin, Gabe Butler, row number 2. Row number 3, Zachary Lima and Les Levy. Row 4, Vicente Guerrero and Eric Lurie. Row 5, Anthony English, John Guerrero. Row number 6, going to be Cody Nagels and the 12 of Zach Fridge. Row 7, Peter DeBorgia and Logan Helton. Row number 8, the 47 of Richard Kuhn and Tyler Miller. Row 9, Sean McCara and Jimmy Reynolds in the 17. Casey Gilchrist in our newest winner here on Monday night, the driver of the number 15, that is Jeff Crosby Sr. Row 11, Nathan Warren and Jimmy Mayer in the 95. Dave Hunt and Brian Effin Wang in the 05. Stephen Miles, newcomer on the Speedway. Matt Wagner, formerly race control last season, making his way out onto the Speedway. Zach Workman, Mark Mann making up row number 14. Row 15, Andy Brigante, Richard Sanchez, Dan Harrington, and Adam Kilday bringing up the tail end of the field here tonight. 32 cars scheduled to start this race, but right now we have 31 on the Speedway as Dave Hunt not making the call to the grid, but here we go. The trucks getting ready to roar to life. The Chevy Silverado out of the way. Here we go. Green flag is in the air, and we are underway for the first time here tonight. Side by side they go into turn number 1. Hunter Reynolds in the 26 takes the clear advantage. Sebastian Marin trying to challenge on the inside, but right now it is anyone's guess where the fast line is. Zachary Lima in the 1, pushing on the back bumper of the 23. That middle lane right now looks to be the fast one as they continue to dig hard for this opening lap. Dave Hunt has made his way out onto the speedway, but he is all by himself, and he is going to lose a lap here very quickly if he cannot get a caution and find a way to get up to speed.
Yeah, these guys jostling back and forth up front. You've seen it already. Karosik mainly, he just went top to bottom to top to take the race lead. Logan Helton and Tyler Miller, I believe, are the trucks on the outside wrecking already, and that's Helton, Miller, and Guerrero. And oh boy, we're piling up a bunch of trucks back there towards the end of the super stretch.
They're still making contact. Vicente Guerrero in the 14, pointed the wrong direction. Looks like some action for the 63 of Logan Helton. A 1 lap in the books, and then they decided that it looked too easy. All right, let's take another look here. Try and back this up and see if we can figure out what happened down the back stretch. The 62, the 14 get together. They're going to collect the 63. Cody Nagels in the 6 is going to escape through that. So 4 trucks get together. And everyone has to scatter around just to find a way to get through this. We go on board with Anthony English, and you can see the 14 looked like he moved up there. Anthony English heads for the grass. And then it is chaos behind him. One last look here. So trucks spinning very early. Dawson, first caution flag of the night is out. Steve Karosik gonna say he's not coming down pit road this time. Everyone else did though.
Well, yeah, they did. I'm not surprised. Maybe it's too early for Karosik to play some strategy. Maybe he thinks we're gonna wreck here a few times early, and pitting here is not going to be a big deal. Yeah, it's going to be a long night, and I'm thinking that's what Karosik's banking on. If we're going to race like that 2-3 laps in and pile up trucks, it's going to be a really long night for these guys. It may become a war of attrition pretty quickly here.
Yeah, absolutely. War of attrition would, you know, when you had that first crash within 2 laps, that's the first thing that hits your mind. But sometimes you get that crash out of the way and everyone's like, ooh, we better settle down. So we'll see how this plays out. I do want to say hello to Miss Maxine. How you doing, Miss Maxine? Thank you very much for coming by and saying hello. Logan Helton sitting on pit road, the driver of the number 63 truck, getting serviced by his pit crew. Dawson, we are in the trucks. How many times tonight do you think you are going to call them a race car?
Hopefully not as many as last time we were out here. Don't want to keep adding to that coin jar we've got going.
I don't know. One of us could retire.
I mean, at the rate we're going, one of us may be able to cash out pretty well here at some point this season.
Right? All right. Well, field is under caution. They are all stacked up behind the first Chevy Silverado on the field, and that is our pace truck. Steve Karosik right now has the decision to come down pit road, but so far not making it, and it looks like he is going to stay out. That caution flag did help Dave Hunt as he needed that yellow flag to get caught back up on the field. But unfortunately for the 53 of Dave Hunt, he is back on pit road, and now he is one of our trucks that is a lap down.
Yeah, so good brakes one way, bad brakes the other way. Almost a bad break up front, I'll tell you what, as Karosik looked like he was going to take the top for the restart. Hunter Reynolds didn't quite get the memo. These two about collided, as I'm sure you all saw, but had me panicking for a second. Our two leaders almost got into each other right there trying to get sorted out for the restart.
Well, that's scary. All right, so working lap number 5 of 100, our first caution of the night. About ready to wrap up. I do want to give a huge shout out to everyone who made last week possible. Thank you very much to Al Smith, who covered for me, and Dawson. Dawson, you were out of country. I was out of town. I didn't go nearly as far as you, but we both had to get away for a minute. And Al Smith did a great job of covering for us. And as we take a look at our race info here, Jeff Crosby Sr., driver of the number 15, picked up his first win ever on Monday night. So a huge shout out to him. And again, let's go ahead and continue on down our race info here as we look at the rest of what it takes to win the race here tonight. You got to have your elbows up, and you got to manage the energy that is behind you if you want to get to the front of the field. Our stages are at lap 25 and 50, and there is one fast repair available to our drivers tonight. So as the green flag rolls once again, Steve Karosik, Hunter Reynolds lead this field to the green flag, and Karosik makes a big move to the outside right away. Not sure if he wanted to go up there or if the 23 gave him a nudge he didn't like.
Well, I think maybe he wanted to go up there. You said it on the first start. The middle line, especially on this configuration of Daytona, is just so dominant. And I think Karosik, maybe what he wanted to do is get a good enough start, jump up in front, and have some good help behind him off the backstretch, and that's exactly what he has done. Great move by Karosik. You're going to see that a lot out of some guys tonight. That's what you have to do to lead the race.
A lot of people chiming in on YouTube chat saying hello and happy 4th of July. Yes, absolutely. It is Monday, July 3rd. And then everyone's going to get this race in and then look forward to blowing their blowing stuff up. So, Dawson, here we go. We got to get through this race before we can set off the fireworks.
Yeah, we're going to have some fireworks on the racetrack tonight, I think, as well. Too wide, about 8-9 rows deep up front. There's some guys that want to be up front, and it's the usual suspects. I think we're going to say this a lot this season. Marin, Karosik, Lima, Reynolds, Nagels, these are guys that have been up front constantly. Every time we see them, they're up front. Put Gabe Butler and Anthony English in that conversation as well. Just guys that will always want to be controlling the field. That's exactly what they're doing, and especially what these front two are doing, Marin and Karosik.
Fastest lap of the race does belong to Steve Karosik at a 48.66. But as I say that, they cross the start-finish line, and Nathan Warren in the 2 turns a new fast lap at a 47.09. And everybody that time around turned their best lap of the race. So that's a good indication that we are getting up to full speed and everyone turning these laps as fast as they can.
Yeah, now we've got a few laps under our belts. We're starting to see what guys are going to do. It's so interesting, especially in super speedway racing, to watch each individual race strategy unfold. So you got the guys that are at the front. Then you have the guys that were a little further back after the first caution, like Zach Workman. He has made his way from 27th to 12th in the first 10 laps of the race. So it's just so interesting to watch some of these guys kind of pick through the field, make their way to the front, if they want to be up front, or go hang back, maybe save that fast repair and stay out of the mess. Maybe they're in it at the end with a chance to win the race.
Riding on board with Zach Workman, who is one of our bigger movers of the race so far. tucked in behind the 12 of Zach Fritsch. Workman, a champion in OP racing, finding himself mid-pack. So Dawson, I don't know about you, but every time I get mid-pack, I start feeling claustrophobic, so I tend to cause a crash and fix that claustrophobia.
Yeah, it can get really tight in the middle of the pack, especially on really a two-groove racetrack. This is not like our modern configurations where 3 wide is infinitely possible. 3 wide, you have to be selective about it. You have to be very confident in your own abilities and confident in the help behind you and the guys around you, just to make sure you're not gonna start a chain reaction pileup. And we haven't seen a lot of it yet. We will see some of it later. For now, though, I think these guys are going to be content to just ride 2 wide.
Yeah, they are settling into that 2 wide formation lap after lap. Right now, the 23 of Sebastian Marin leads the charge on the inside line, as we do have a few drivers peeling off for pit road. That is Tyler Miller, Zach Fritsch, and Zach Workman, all peeling away to make their pit stops. And I do believe that will do it for them to the end of the stage.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what they're doing. They weren't the first 3 or 4 rows, and realistically, if you're not at this point in the stage, I don't know how much you're going to be able to get done. So they're thinking maybe cut the stage in half and maybe try to short pit these guys and undercut them. We'll see if it works out for them. They'll only have 3 trucks, but that might be all it takes if they can get hooked up quick off pit road.
3 trucks could be enough, like you said. Just gotta get hooked up. Sebastian Marin continues to lead, and a few more drivers peel off for pit lane. And now Steve Karosik drops down to the inside. Sean McCarron, Nate Warren, Mark Mann, Richard Kuhn, Stephen Miles all hit pit road this time.
Yeah, and I think Karosik may be taking a cue from his teammates here, and I think they may be coming this time. That's why he dropped in line. He's seeing guys start to peel off to pit road. He says, we got to go now. We don't want them to undercut us. So they've clearly gotten the memo from the guys behind them that they're going to be aggressive in short pits. So don't be surprised if the 27 leads the charge onto pit road this time by.
All right, so here they come off of turn number 4. Who's going to hit pit road? And this time, it is a very large group. Sebastian Marin, Steve Karosik from the race lead, going to hit pit road. A few drivers locking the brakes up, but everyone gathers it in, and we stay green. Hunter Reynolds assumes the race lead, and now just 9 drivers have not made a pit stop here tonight. Hunter Reynolds, Anthony English running 1 and 2, nose to tail, bumper to bumper. They are working down the backstretch in Dawson. We're going to see these guys probably hit pit road this time. They can't give up too much time here.
Well, I think what they're going to try to do is exactly what they've done, and that's get in a single file line, push hard, see how much time they can get, and maybe, yep, here they come. They're going to hit pit road this time. So that's exactly what they were doing. They're trying to just get as many seconds as they can get on that next group, which we'll have to kind of take a look and see where they blend. The bigger group is just now blending back onto the racetrack, so maybe a good strategy for them.
The 12 of Zach Fritsch makes a pass around the 1 of Zachary Lima. So the 12 of old Fritchie could be the one that comes away with the race lead. He makes his way through the trial of Matt Wagner in the 11, the only truck not to come down pit road just yet. And so he's got gonna hit pit road this time from pit lane. Or I'm sorry, he gives up the race lead to hit pit road, but down the backstretch, the 26 of Hunter Reynolds is going to get passed by the 12 of Zach Fritsch and the 6 of Cody Nagels as they are running side by side. So the 6 of Nagels now battling for the race lead with the 12. Tyler Miller right there as well, and the 40 of Peter DeBorgia.
Yeah, and really a couple of things to note there. Number one, that first group that pit that we said all they had to do was get hooked up by undercutting the field, it worked. They're out front. Workman, Miller, and Fritsch. They're, I think, first, third, and fifth right now. So good call by those guys to pit a few laps early. They end up with the lead. And the second thing, you have to point out the pit stop efforts by Gabe Butler and Cody Nagels. They actually flipped track position with Steve Karosik and Zach Lima and Sebastian Marin. They're in front of them now all of a sudden, and they've got those two guys trapped back in the pack. So great effort by both of those groups of guys to flip the track position on its head here with 10 laps to go on the stage.
The stage will end at the completion of lap 25. Right now we do have 29 trucks on the lead lap. Logan Helton, Eric Rory, Dave Hunt are the 3 trucks that are not on the lead lap. And so as the field continues to cycle around, Vicente Guerrero in the 14, who was involved in our first incident of the day, now has the fastest lap of the race at a 47.05. So the 14 trying to work hard and make some speed.
Yeah, there's several guys that are doing just that maybe weren't at the front before. I'm looking at Peter DeBorgia, Nate Warren. They have made their way to the front. Brian Wang here is now in the front pack. A lot of flip track position. All of a sudden, the stage break gets really interesting when it comes to points. And based on how we saw that first run unfold, the guys that were at the front are no longer up there like I talked about a minute ago. So this could be a serious flip in points here at the end of the stage.
Points are very tight right now. We're only into our third race of the season. 2 races have been completed. And so with that being said, I mean, all it takes is one good run and you have a massive points.
Yeah, and I think that's why it's maybe so important. You hear guys talk about they want to get a good start to the season. I think we heard several guys talk about it a couple of weeks ago. They just wanted to get on the right foot. And even now, 3 weeks in, you still are wanting to just keep consistency and be good early on. You're not having to play from behind the 8 ball, and you're not having to go for desperation points later in the season. So the aggression starts now. It doesn't start in the playoffs. It starts right now to get as many points as you can. And some of these guys, they are doing just that. 3 wide, though. Karosik and Marin, they've said time is up. They're coming for stage points. They're the first ones to really test that third line up by the wall.
Yeah, for the first time, they are 3 wide up along the rim. And Nate Warren leading the charge in that lane. Tyler Miller, Zach Workman doing all they can to keep their momentum up. As we go 3 wide, can they hold on to this racing 3 wide here at the Bumpy Road 250 to the end of the stage? That is the completion of lap 25.
Oh, it's going to be so tough for them to hold on to this. It's going to be 5 or 6 rows of 3 wide here, maybe 7 even, by the time we get to turns 3 and 4. I don't know if they're going to hold on to this for the next 6 laps, but boy, they're going to try. What a run by Warren. Oh, he gets a little out of shape, so that run goes away quickly. It'd be interesting to see if Tyler Miller maybe blocks that. I don't think he's going to have a chance to, though. What an effort by Steve Karosik. He's going to shove Nate Warren to the lead here at the line, I believe.
Nate Warren in the 2 had the line, or the lead at the line. And they continue to run 3 wide. Big wiggle out of Cody Nagels. He holds on to it. A little bit of contact. Everyone was holding their breath there, and they found a way to get it done.
Yeah, and you see now Hunter Reynolds, he said, nope, I'm good. I'm going to the back. I'm going to go hang out and get away from this. And I don't blame him. He was not in a spot where stage points were going to be a big possibility. Oh, big wiggle, Workman. Oh, how did he hold on to that one in the bottom lane? Zach Workman, what a moment for him.
Gabe Butler also had to catch that race truck, but they found a way to get through it. We are going to complete lap 20 and start lap 21. And this is getting very, very intense as they are running door to door, bumper to bumper. Yeah, they're only doing that at, a calm, cool, collected 180 miles an hour.
Yeah, no big deal, right? 6 inches apart or less at times. Yeah, no, it is super intense, and it really is. It's a product of the trucks and the way that the trucks have unfolded the past couple of weeks since we got the big changes. I was a little bit skeptical, I gotta be honest with you, but these guys are proving me wrong in a big way. Oh, contact Workman, is he gonna catch it again? He is gonna catch it again. Zach Workman, he is working the steering wheel tonight the first 20 laps.
Had to go down below the yellow line to catch it, but managed to make that save. So good job by the driver of the 19. But Sebastian Marin is out in front now. Oh, and another one out of shape. Got down below the yellow line, kissed that apron just a little bit. We stay green. Tyler Miller in the 24. Out in the front. Only had the one caution so far. And with that being said, if we get one between now and the end of the stage, that will end the stage.
Yeah, the field is really chopped up all of a sudden. They had a lap truck kind of catch them in a bad spot. So really, it's about a 7-truck breakaway, and then Workman is 8th. Sean McCara, Jim Mayer, they have made their way to the front, as well as Anthony English. He's up on the front row for the first time tonight, and Casey Gilchrist has made his presence felt at the front of the field. But it's about I believe a 9-truck breakaway, maybe 10. I think it's 10. Before you get to that second pack, with only 3 laps to go, that second pack's got to get up on it and try to come get some stage points.
Jeff Crosby Sr., last week's race winner, going to go 1 lap down, and hopefully he can join this group and be the first car 1 lap down and get back into this race. So Tyler Miller in the 24, going to peel off for pit road. He's going to give up stage points for track position in stage number 2. Maybe avoid a big crash because they are starting to look a little bit wild and crazy out there.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of the two. I think maybe they're focusing on the bigger picture than the stage points. And it might end up being a smart decision for them. And there it is. Lima's around and into the fence. I think we're going to keep it straight. No, we are not. And that's going to be the stage right there on the back straightaway. Boy, that was close between English and Marin.
And Peter DeBorgia had just turned the fastest lap of the race. And the caution flag going to fly. Let's see if we can take a look and see what happened here. Off the nose of Richard Kuhn, Steve Karosik going to tag him a little bit. 47 able to continue. And everyone's going for a spin behind them. Take one more look here at the 47. You can see Lima in the 1 already sideways. Gabe Butler getting a piece of it. The yellow flag comes out to end the stage, and it looks like the 44 of Anthony English going to be our stage winner. Want to give a shout out to Miss Tammy, Miss Mara. Ladies, thank you very much for joining us here tonight. Hope you all enjoy the show, and hope you all have a good 4th of July coming up here tomorrow. All right, so on to pit road. The 44 leads this field. First one on the pit lane. When that yellow flag comes out is a very good indication of our stage winner. Riding on board with the 44 for this pit stop. Tires, fuel. Down and away goes Anthony English. Cody Nagel's in the 6, able to beat him off of pit road, but let's take a moment and talk to our stage winner. Gotta find him, Dawson. This is too much work for me. I'm too tired. I spent 24 hours this weekend at the racetrack. I'm worn out.
Yeah, I believe I saw him down there somewhere.
I found him. He's been found. The 44 of Anthony English in the booth. Dawson, take it away.
Well, Anthony English, our stage winner. You got us?
Hey, what's happening, man?
Well, it was a really intense end of the stage. Obviously doesn't go all the way to the end, but you find yourself out front. You get that stage win. Take us through your first part of the race, how you're feeling about the way these trucks are racing and the way this drafting package is working out on this configuration at Daytona so far.
Oh, well, I mean, another race has been pretty fun. This package is actually, it's pretty fun. It can get pretty intense. Like, oh my God, that last little bit, all that 3 wide racing, the bumping and the jiving there, those last few laps for stage, that was very, very intense. Very intense. But yeah, I got lucky there with, I think a caution happened when it did. I just squeaked by Seabass right before that. With Mayor pushing me hard there, so big shout out to Mayor for the push there for the stage win.
Well, absolutely, and the track position kind of flips now. We saw some guys come to pit road right at the end of the stage. Does your approach change, not knowing that you're not going to be the leader here on the restart, or is it just the same kind of get up on the wheel and get back up there and try for some more points at the end of stage 2?
I'll tell you what, it doesn't matter where you were at. I was 16th with 5 laps to go before that stage, so within 4 laps, I got up to the lead, so it tells you can be anywhere and you can get up there. So it doesn't matter. Right now, I'm just kind of running my race. I'm going to try to stay up front as close as I can. Maybe try to snag some more stage points here, and then see how it shakes up from there to see how my final approach will be for the last stage of the race.
All right, well, real quick before we go back green, any shout-outs, thank yous you want to give for that stage win there in stage 1?
Oh, big shout out Jim. He pushed me there. His big shove there that pushed me past the US for it. So big shout out to him. You guys in the booth, everybody at OP that puts this on, family and friends, and my girlfriend who's watching. Love you all, and hopefully we talk to you again here later tonight.
All right, well, we'll see if we're talking to you again here in just a little bit. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you, thank you.
Anthony, what team are you with again? Sorry.
Vendetta.
Vendetta. All right, thank you.
Yep.
All right, we'll get him down to Vendetta. All right, everyone changes too much for me. That's all I can do to keep track of what day of the week it is.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so field stacked up 2 by 2 side by side. Zach Workman and Tyler Miller, row number 1 for the restart. Zach Fritsch, Hunter Reynolds, row number 2. And then it's Peter DeBorgia and Sebastian Marin making up our 3rd row for the restart. So here they come once again, the Chevy Silverado. Lights have gone out on it, probably because it has a recall. But we'll see as it heads down pit road. Green flag is out and we are underway. Zach Workman going to go unchallenged for the moment as Tyler Miller laid back quite a bit on that start.
Well, I almost wonder if it was maybe a little bit intentional. We've seen those guys work together. Maybe he was trying to get Workman up into the middle line to kind of control the lanes a little bit. It obviously did not work out as Hunter Reynolds has laid on the back bumper of the 24 at Miller, and he's going to shove him considerably out in front of the bottom line. What a great push by Hunter Reynolds. Middle line is rolling big time. As I'm looking back through, wow, what a move. Reynolds and Marin, how about that? Almost in sync to the bottom. Reynolds to the lead in 3.
26 of Hunter Reynolds out in front and moves to that middle lane. Sebastian Marin, Zach Workman, they have to figure out what to do with the 26, but Zach Workman in the 19 has the momentum on the inside line.
Yeah, the big push from his teammate Zach Fritsch, or at least his partner tonight so far, Zach Fritsch. We've seen those 2 trucks work together. Quite a big push from him. They're staying loyal to each other for right now. we're starting to see alliances maybe come together here at the front of the field early. It's something we didn't see a couple weeks ago, so a little bit of a different dynamic going so far in this race. We'll see if it keeps going. Obviously, eventually, they're going to kind of dissolve a little bit, but for right now, your friends are where you find them.
Got to make friends where you can, and the 23 sliced down to the inside going into turn number 3. And so now he moves up to the top lane. Big wiggle because of that move. Out of that whole entire upper line, the 23 is Sebastian Marin, though. Holds on to it, and the 26 shows his displeasure, drops down to the inside and tries to make something happen.
Yeah, after I just talked about them working together, now they're taking turns trying to slice inside, get the lead, and jump back up in front of the other one. So maybe not as much of in sync as I thought they were a couple of laps ago. Reynolds and Marin trading the lead. They both want to be out front. And it looks like Reynolds is going to go back to the bottom. Oh, man, big wiggle from Workman and Fritz right there. I'll tell you what, Zach Workman might be the busiest man on the racetrack so far in the first 30 laps.
Man, I'll tell you what, these trucks are all over the racetrack, and they are digging hard each and every lap. As you can see, each time they make a move, it is razor thin close. And then they get a bump, only to upset the truck just a little bit and make them have to work, or not work, but chase that wheel a little bit harder.
Yeah, and it's a product of the way the trucks race now. We've talked about this a lot the past couple of weeks. The way you can basically slam draft now in a way we never have been able to. And at a track like this where the truck's already upset, add a big-time slam draft in the back bumper, especially coming off the banking right about here on the exit of turn 4. The truck does not like that on these bumpy racetracks. So, man, these guys are having to work hard, but so far they're getting away with it for now.
All right, Hunter Reynolds and Sebastian Marin are your race leaders. They're working lap 32 of 100 here in stage number 2. This stage is going to end at the completion of lap 50. We do have 26 trucks on the lead lap. Jimmy Reynolds, John Guerrero, Les Levy, Logan Helton, and Eric Laurie are all drivers that are not on the lead lap. Dave Hunt has only turned 3 laps, but has been sitting on pit road for the last 30 minutes. So we'll see if he gets back out onto the speedway. As we go 3 wide, Vicente Guerrero up to the top shelf, Dawson.
Yeah, I just started to see it when you were talking about Dave Hunt, as Guerrero and Logan Helton have just appeared at the front. All of a sudden they are challenging for the race lead. They drop back a little bit now, but boy, what a run for those two. And they've got help coming, a bit of a cavalry. The one of Lima and the 27 of Karosik, they are also up against the wall. They're going to have 4 trucks. We're going to be 3x3, several rows deep here as we head into 3 and 4.
The 23 and the 26 running nose to tail. Right now they don't have a challenge, but they do have a pack of hungry trucks behind them. Sooner or later, these guys are going to have to hit pit road. So far, no one coming down pit lane just yet, but that fuel window is now open to end out the stage on a fuel run. So here we go. When is the field going to break for pit lane? Who's going to blink first? And oh my goodness, Hunter Reynolds trying to make that truck very wide here on lap 34.
Yeah, a lot of big aggressive moves, a lot of slicing, dicing. You see it right there. Guerrero and Helton switch spots essentially. Helton actually had jumped out of the 3rd line to jump down and help Cody Nagels in the middle, and it actually keeps Nagels up at the front. He was hung in the middle with no help. Helton jumped in. Now he's back out on the outside. These guys are all over the racetrack. And as a result, like you said, Hunter Reynolds is having to kind of throw his truck all over the place to try to hold the lead here with just about 15 laps to go in this second stage.
All right, so as they work their way around, we do have 3 wide racing. Oh man, hold your breath. They're trying to figure out what they want to do. 63 of Logan Helton he wants to get one of his laps back. He is multiple laps down, so he has to get up there and get on the wheel. He's going to need the help of some cautions or some good old-fashioned hard racing to make it happen. And he is doing all he can to get back on this lead lap.
Yeah, this is unfortunately not going to help him. His help has bailed to the bottom, and I think we're about to start seeing pit stops. So his hope for a caution or racing his way back at least one of his laps, getting back in front of the leaders, unfortunately I don't think is going to happen right here unless he stays out and breaks the pit cycle. So it'll be interesting. Keep an eye on the 63 of Logan Helton. We'll see what he does right here. That'll be a very interesting part of it, but judging by the freight train on the inside of the racetrack, I think we've got some pit stops coming up here.
Yeah, once you start seeing them all dive down to the inside, you know they're thinking about pit stops, and they all are on the inside lane, just 4 trucks to the outside. Here comes our first group onto pit road. Steve Karosik, Zachary Lima, Anthony English, all hitting pit lane.
Yeah, and this time it's kind of ironic. The group that maybe got shocked a little bit by the first group last time we had a green flag pit cycle now is the first ones to pit. So they are going to flip the track position. They're going to try to do exactly what the Tyler Miller, Zach Workman, Zach Fritsch group did last time around. So very interesting. It's a game of chess, really, all at the same time as you're racing 3 wide. You got to be thinking like those guys are thinking. Undercut the field, get some time back, be the leaders at the end of the stage.
Do want to point out Kevin Nagels chiming in on YouTube chat. Kevin, thank you very much for joining us. Oh my goodness, trouble on the pit road. That was a rough entry. Several trucks making contact. Mark Mann getting a piece of it. So too is the 19 of Workman. And the yellow flag has come out because those two got into a big time issue hitting pit lane. Take a look here. You can already see the 24, the 19, and the 04 are sideways. Let's see if we can't back that up just a bit more. Just a bit more. And it looks like the 19 is going to get some help getting turned around. The 04 gets help as well. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Rough entry onto pit road for multiple drivers. Going to put us under another caution this time. And man, did it spill out onto the racetrack. Jim Mayer in the 95 going for a big ride. Take another look here off the nose of the 95 of Jim Mayer. Oh my. All right, so pit stops, cautions, all that.
Yeah, this caution happens right in the middle of a green flag pit cycle, and it's going to throw the order out of whack altogether here, as we were literally in the middle of a pit stop when that wreck happened. So we're going to have to reset the running order, and it starts up at the front as Peter DeBorgia, I believe, is going to cycle through to the race lead. So he will take the point for the first time this evening. But that first group that came down, Karosik, Lima, English, they are 3, 4, 5. They did exactly what they wanted to do. They flipped the track position and undercut the rest of the field, save for the 2 trucks in front of them.
All right, so to pick up where I was going before all of this happened, Kevin Nagels just chimed in, or had just chimed in, saying he was P17 out of 29. That may seem insignificant, but that was Kevin's first time. Today, Kevin popped his iRacing experience for the first time, and he got it done, finishing 17th. Nice job, Kevin. Glad to have you in the iRacing world. I did see it on Facebook from Cody Nagels, pictures, posts, whatever it was. Man, nice job. Glad to have you in the iRacing world.
How do you feel about having two Nagels out there at some point at KR rather than just one?
I will quit my job. I will. We're done. We're done here. There's nothing to see if there's two of them. No, I kid. I would love to see Kevin and Cody out there, along with Jeff Crosby and Jeff Crosby. And I mean, OP Racing absolutely does have some of the best father-son duos out there in the iRacing world. So yeah, absolutely, Kevin. Come on, get up here. Get to this level. Let's go. All right, so with all of that being said, Jackson Broadbent chiming in, talking about SVG, or Shane Van Gisbergen, in the Cup car, and a new record was set, as far as I can recall. I thought it was Jamie McMurray, and Jamie McMurray won his second race ever in a Cup Series. Well, SVG does it in his debut. There you go. How about that, folks? Heck of a drive in Chicago for SVG.
Yeah, a great moment for that whole team, the whole Project 91 deal they've had for the last couple of years. It's really cool to see that car not only win, but have a guy win like Shane Van Gisbergen that really brings a new audience to NASCAR that maybe is not as familiar with it. Great job for him. Great stuff. And excited to see where that program goes after this race.
All right, so the lights are out on our Chevy Silverado. The pace truck going to hit pit lane this time. Zach Fritsch, Peter DeBorgia on the front row for this restart. We're going to have 10 laps to go in the stage. Here we go. Green flag is out. We're back underway. And now it is starting to get very hot and heavy because you got 10 laps to figure out where you're going to end up in the stage.
Yeah, and I think Peter DeBorgia had the right idea picking the middle lane for this restart. It organized better off the start. He's going to have a great run off of turn 2. He's going to control the field going into 3. This caution really worked out for himself and Zach Fritsch, who just happened to be caught in front of the accident. This could be a very valuable opportunity for those two, especially to get some very important points here at the end of stage 2. Look at DeBorgia controlling that middle lane. He's got a big-time pusher behind him, Zach Lima. He's not going to lay off, but here comes the bottom. Fritsch, Karosik, English, Nagels out of 4, headed back to the line.
Side by side, one more lap down, one more lap completed, and they are getting up to speed and digging hard. A lot of racing to go still, but we are creeping up on the halfway mark. Zach Fritsch, Peter DeBorgia in the race lead for right now. Anything can happen and will happen for sure. Don't get too comfortable.
And DeBorgia slices back down across the bottom, across the nose of the 12. He gets back to the race lead. He's dicing it up with these race leaders now. Other than the 40, it's the same guys we talked about earlier that have been at the front the last few times we've seen them, and that want to control this race. And it's gonna be up to the guys behind him to go and change that. We'll see if they can do it. DeBorgia's trying to do it right now. He's trying to mess up this party here at the front.
The 40 of Peter DeBorgia hugging that yellow line. But Zachary Lima in the mid lane finds a way to get some extra speed. But however, Lap traffic, the 14 of Vicente Guerrero. Sorry. That is not the 14. I saw the... That was Jim Mayer in the red and white. Got ahead of myself. Vicente Guerrero in the red and white Budweiser. So yeah, it can happen.
Similar paint jobs, and they were very close on track right there. Vicente actually running third on the outside line right about now, so pretty easy to mix those two trucks up if you're not really kind of looking at them. So,
oh, call me out. Okay.
No, not quite. I was actually giving you the benefit of the doubt.
Oh, but either way, the 40 of Peter DeBorgia is he's got his own paint scheme, so no confusing that truck. I didn't say car, I said truck, as our race leader.
Yeah, I was watching the third line there in 3 and 4. It was 5 trucks deep. All of a sudden now it is dissolved. Cody Nagels jumped up there because he saw him coming, and they bail on him. So he's going to go backwards in a hurry out of basically 3rd or 4th on the outside line. Oh, now here we go. Logan Helton. We talked about it's going to be interesting to watch him try to get these laps back. That's exactly what he's going to do. He's coming back to the front. He's bringing Nagels and McCara and several others in tow.
Yeah, the 63 up on the high side. He has some work to do. Not just 1 lap, but 2 laps to make up. He might be able to get it done. Still has quite a bit of time. But it's not done just yet.
Yeah, well, now he's got to push the 14 as Vicente Guerrero makes that move to the top, and actually it's going to give Guerrero the race lead, at least for a split second, up around the rim of the racetrack. Let's see what kind of push Helton can give him. Helton has been a good pusher. We've seen him be very good, both leading lines and pushing lines. We'll see if he can push Guerrero out front, but don't be surprised if Helton makes an aggressive move the second he gets clear going into turn number 3.
Race leader, the 14 of Vicente Guerrero as they enter turn 3, but in the middle of the corner, it is the 1 of Zachary Lima. Down the front stretch and into the tri-oval, 3 wide racing. We are getting down to the nitty-gritty. Just 4 laps to go in this stage.
Yeah, this is going to get to be some really intense racing again. Just like the end of stage 1, these guys are going to gear up and do it again. And it's a lot of the same players. So let's see. Anthony English is in this first pack. Workman again. I don't know if you saw that, but the 19 just for some reason is a magnet to having to make big saves in this race. He does it again. But no, it's a lot of the same guys, and Anthony English, don't look now, he's 4th in the middle. He has made his way back to the front of this pack to try to get some more stage points.
They are all snaking back and forth, trying to get all they can out of this stage. Stage number 2 going to be huge because each and every point you can get this season is going to cost you every bit of skill to gain. And so Zachary Lima in the 1, trying to come away with the stage win, but Peter DeBorgia in the 40 down on the inside has something to say about it. We got 1 truck out of shape down below the yellow line. Looks like Mark Mann, the yellow flag coming out. We got a few more trucks in trouble. The 71 of Sean McCara goes for a ride. And he is now in the bus stop, still trying to get that truck under control.
Yeah, this was several different incidents. It was a big chain reaction. The first 2 trucks I saw get out of shape were Vicente Guerrero and Peter DeBorgia right up front. And from there, it just kind of spiraled its way back. Gabe Butler was dead sideways. I thought for sure he was going around. And then the same with Guerrero again about halfway down the backstretch. I'm not sure if anybody actually got turned backwards, but we got close enough, obviously, to trigger the caution that is going to end stage number 2.
All right, we're trying to back this up far enough so we can see what happened. Let's go on aboard with the 82 of Dan Harrington. And yeah, it seems like multiple incidents throughout this field. Dan Harrington was able to get through it all. But yeah, you said it. Caution flag coming out. And that is going to do it for this stage, as Zachary Lima going to lead this field on to pit road.
Yeah, it's a big stage win for the one. I thought for a second, the way they were racing back to the line, that DeBorgia had won the stage, but either way, an important stage win, and you're going to get good track position since no one had an opportunity to come down and pit early like Zach Workman, Zach Fritsch, and Tyler Miller did at the end of stage number 1. So it's a win-win for the driver of the number 1 as he comes away with stage 2 victory.
All right, we'll let him make his pit stop, and then we will pull him up in here and get a quick word with our stage winner. Down and away they go. Pit stops completed. So let's get Zachary Lima up into this time I won't forget what I gotta find it first. He's not here. Dawson, in Discord here.
Nope, I was looking myself. I cannot find him either.
Okay, cool. Cool. Maybe that means I'm not as crazy as him. It happens. All right. Not required to be here. But the one of Zachary Lima is our stage 2 winner. So if he does make it around, we will try and pull him in, but doesn't seem like so here tonight. All right, Dawson, lights have gone out on the Silverado. We're going to start our final stage here tonight. And not only that, but we're going to see who can win this race. So far, who do you think's got it?
Well, I mean, if you had asked me to pick one, I don't know if I could really put my finger on one person that I think. Obviously, if I had to pick out of the guys that have been up front all race, my go-to at this point is either Sebastian Marin or Hunter Reynolds, just the way they've been able to dice and make moves and not really have to adjust. A lot of these guys, we've seen them have to kind of maybe relearn this truck configuration on this configuration of Daytona. Hunter Reynolds and Sebastian Marin look like they're naturals at it already, so maybe a little bit extra experience, maybe just a natural ability to be able to race this racetrack. But if you had to ask me right now, I think those two are the guys I'm looking at as we get ready to start our final stage.
All right, so it is Zach Fritsch, Peter DeBorgia, row number 1, Steve Carosi, Zachary Lima, row 2, row 3, Hunter Reynolds, and Zach Workman. Oh my. Dawson, I don't know about you, but I am absolutely enjoying these trucks that are going out here on Monday night. They are putting on a heck of a show. It's only the 3rd race of the season, but man, I have been thrilled all season long.
Oh, absolutely, and I believe there's a lot more to come, and it starts right now in this final stage. Now get ready, take a deep breath, because it might be the last chance you get. 49 laps to go. Zach Fritsch, Peter DeBorgia coming back to the green. It's Fritsch, looks like unchallenged relatively here, headed for turn number 1 as the outside does not get going at all here on this restart.
Zach Fritch in the 12 has the advantage going into turn number 1. Slides up to the middle lane, leaving the bottom open for the 26 of Hunter Reynolds. And they are going to go 3 wide off of turn number 2. Steve Karosik slides down. Hunter Reynolds has the inside lane to his advantage. I don't know if we're going to get through all of this here tonight without somebody getting airborne.
Yeah, these guys, I'm not sure how they're getting away with it. Some of these moves they're throwing. Zach Fritch had a block off turn 2 on Karosik, where he basically chased him up the racetrack and just dropped his nose, or dropped on Karosik's nose. And I just have no idea how they got that to work. If this was a month or a month and a half ago, I don't think they can pull that off, but without wrecking about half the field. But again, it's just the changes we've seen. It makes this racing so much more aggressive and so much more intense. And you can tell by the guys at the front that they're liking the way it's going so far.
So Karosik in the 027, one of our trucks that have been up front on the regular along with the 26, but going to be joined for the first time with the 31 of Casey Gilchrist. Gilchrist, though, losing a bit of momentum through the tri-oval. Oh, man, he chased that truck up the track.
Yeah, he did, and I'll tell you who else was chasing it up the track was Hunter Reynolds. He threw a big block on Karosik and the one there in the middle line, and that's what I mean. It's moves like that. All of a sudden tonight, Hunter Reynolds has just put on a clinic of making some of these moves at the perfect time to be able to slice and dice and stay at the front. And he's a couple of times tonight, he's taken these guys to school, and that's why I say keep an eye on the 26. He is running an excellent race to this point.
All right, so Nate Warren in the 2 slides in, thinking about the 3rd lane, but one truck that is still digging hard in that 3rd lane, that is the 63 of Logan Helton, the champion here in the OP Racing Series, and right now finds himself multiple laps down and just cannot get the brakes he needs to get back onto the lead lap. He is one of the fast trucks out here, but just each and every time he starts working his way forward, he gets cut short with the caution.
Yeah, there's several guys a lap down, I think, that have just kind of gotten caught on the wrong end of a few cautions. Jimmy Reynolds, John Guerra, Jim Mayer. Obviously, we've mentioned Helton. The other is Richard Sanchez, who actually is in a pretty good spot right now, about 5th in the middle line. In place for the lucky dog, but also in a dangerous spot if these guys up front start to wreck. I think he's a little bit too close to the front, but he's having a race for the lucky dog, and that's a product of it sometimes.
All right, we are working lap 56. Last time the drivers were on pit road was lap 49. So not too many laps to go, but Dawson, now's the time to start thinking backwards to the end of this race. So let's say it's 100 laps long. When do you start coming down pit road, not only the last time, but this time as well? Or I should say the second to last time, because we know we got 2 more stops to make.
Yeah, and it's at least 2 stops from here. Depending on when you decide to pit, like say if you were to pit this time, it'd be 3. Obviously, I don't think anybody's going to pit now, but even in the next 5 to 6 laps, it's just going to be really interesting. You have to be able to make it 2 stops without undercutting too much. But we've seen the difference that an early pit stop can make on track position, and if this race goes into multiple green flag cycles, track position and how quick you can get on and off pit road is going to be essential for whether or not you're in the running for this win at the end.
Oh 2-man lap traffic. The 47 of Richard Kuhn makes things very tight as they work through the corner, and Nate Warren gets turned sideways. Yellow flag is going to come out.
Yeah, and this was a chain reaction. While you were talking there, I saw it start to happen. It was contact between teammates. Lima and Karosik. Sebastian Marin kind of just got caught up in a chain reaction. He caught Zach Fritsch, and Nate Warren, unfortunately, nowhere to go, ends up getting the brunt of that incident there on the back straightaway. Just an unfortunate chain reaction that we've seen happen so many times tonight already.
All right, let's take a look here from the spotter tower. You see the 0423 make contact, and then the 12 and the 23 make contact, and it's enough to send around Nate Warren in the 2, and the yellow flag going to come out. We're under yellow once again. With that being said, guys, we're going to step away for a quick break. No one go anywhere. We'll be right back after this.
You wanted the best, you got him 4 abreast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the World of Outlaws.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Turn 3 Racing Network as we are here for the Bumpy Road 250. Green flag about ready to come back out. Dawson, this field is stacked up, ready to go to end out this race.
Yep, it's going to be 39 laps to go. It's the teammates on the front row, Zach Lima, Steve Karosik. We are back green. What a great start by Karosik. Now, the problem is his help did not get a great start, but neither did Zach Lima's on the bottom. So these guys are kind of hung out to dry, at least for a second. Karosik's help gets to him first, in the form of Tyler Miller, Zach Workman, and I believe that's Dan Harrington fourth on the outside. Mark Mann is up here at the front. Hunter Reynolds, and there's Jeff Crosby Sr., last week's winner. He's made his presence felt as we head to the super stretch.
Down the back stretch they go. Zachary Lima in the I-1, I don't know what to call that thing. Neither does iRacing. But it is making it, oh, big wiggle out of Steve Karosik. He tags the wall, stays up high. We are still green as trucks scatter. And now the yellow flag is going to come out. And I do believe everyone got through it without getting too far sideways, but there were so many trucks out of shape that race control said, yep, caution.
Yeah, and really all things considered, he's not going to like the way this went, but props to Steve Karosik from basically keeping that from being a much bigger incident than it was. And he saved it a couple times really on that. The wall, I think, caught him the third time, but a couple of times there, he caught the truck. That could have been a catastrophe right at the front of the field. I believe, actually, he's going to get his spot back here. Well, I thought he was going to. He'd started to drive through the field here.
I don't know how they're going to score this, but
I'm not sure either.
I'll tell you what, man. The flagman maybe was a bit jumpy on the yellow flag button, but when you look at everything on the whole, yeah, why not?
Yeah, and like I said, this could have been seriously way more devastating than it was. And obviously Karosik, again, is not going to like how that went for him, but that could have been so much worse for really a lot of the trucks right at the front of the field.
A lot of drivers coming down pit road as we take another look at this one. And you see a big wiggle contact with the 24 and the 027. And everyone is able to get through. But there were enough trucks out of shape, enough chaos and scattering going around that, you know, maybe that yellow was pushed a bit too early or not necessary, but I think it's the right call because everyone was scattering.
Yeah, if that stays green, that could be a pretty wacky incident there on the front stretch. Just guys going so many different speeds right there. Obviously maybe a little quick, but at the same time, you keep it from becoming an incident where maybe Karosik gets run over there in the tri-oval because he's going a little bit slower than the rest of the field, and the field's trying to stay on it because we stayed green. So ultimately probably the right call. A quick couple of things. Richard Sanchez gets his lap back. He's back on the lead lap. Logan Helton and Jim Mayer, this caution actually is massive for them. They're going to be able to stay out and take the wave around, and they're both going to get their laps back as well.
They have been fighting to get some of those laps back, so it's good to see Logan Helton get one of those back, and could end up with multiple laps returned to him here if it all plays out to his favor.
Yeah, well, I think he got one on our last caution, and I believe he's about to get another one. He should be a lead lap truck here when we come around and score. We'll see. It may have scored him ahead of the race leader last time by, but I do see him as the first truck a lap down, so we'll see when he crosses the line, but would be a beneficial caution for him for sure. We've seen him working for the last basically 35 or 40 laps trying to get his laps back, so maybe a very opportune caution. As they roll past the start-finish line, we'll get to scoring. He is back on the lead lap, so all that work Logan Helton has done, it pays off. He's a lead lap truck once again here with 37 laps to go.
Logan last on pit road on lap 58, and that is important to keep track of because you know, you make this gamble by staying out, and it's worked for him right now, but he is a bit off cycle, so should we get another caution before too long, everything will play out for him and he will end up solidly back on the lead lap. But if he has to come down pit road by himself before the caution flies and he hits pit road alone, he's going to end up kind of back in the same spot he was when this yellow flag came out.
Well, I think he's been able to save here for a couple of cautions now, so maybe he's back on cycle or close. We'll see, obviously, here on this run if he can get on cycle with the leaders, or at least a few other trucks. It doesn't necessarily need to be a huge group of the leaders. We've seen a group of 3 be able to flip track position and get right to the front. So again, I think this is a very opportune moment for him, especially if he gets another quick yellow, can get on pit road. All of a sudden, Logan Helton could be right in the thick of this after working basically all night, as we've seen him pick through the field and try to get his laps back. This is a big moment for him. We'll see if it works out here with just about 35 laps to go and we take the green.
All right, Zachary Lima, Hunter Reynolds on the front row for the restart. Chevy Silverado going to peel off onto pit road, and away we go. Once again, green flag out into the air, and we are back underway to finish out this race here in the Bumpy Road 250.
It's another case of a leader jumping immediately up to the middle, and while yes, it is the faster line, through 1 and 2, the bottom rolls enough that you can get up to the front row if you're the guy in 3rd or 4th. And that's exactly what Zach Workman has done. He took advantage, took the space, and all of a sudden Zach Workman now is on the front row. Let's see how aggressive our race leader Zach Lima decides to be with blocking here. I think he'll just hang in the middle. That's exactly what he's going to do for the time being. We've seen some different strategies on that. Hunter Reynolds likes to control lanes and block. Some other guys maybe just content to ride for now until a little bit later.
Side by side across the start-finish line, Zachary Lima, Zach Workman continue to work around this speedway. Let's go on board with some of the drivers at the back of the pack. This is the 11 of Matt Wagner. Last season, he was our race control. Now he is out on the racetrack trying to mix it up with these OP Racing drivers. Works to the inside of the 071 of Eric Laurie. Right now, Matt Wagner in 22nd spot. He is up 4 positions from where he qualified. So I will say I have seen him all the way up to the front, and been kind of an up and down day for Matt Wagner in a Toyota. Maybe if he had a Chevy Silverado, things would go better for him.
Well, judging by the makeup of the front of the field, I'd say you'd be correct on that. Some other guys having some up and down days too. Zach Workman and Mark Mann being the 2 I'm looking at. They're up 24 positions each as they run right now, at least on our last scoring loop. So it's been a busy day for Zach Workman. Obviously, we've seen him several times have to wheel the truck, and I imagine he's probably not done quite yet, as he shoves Reynolds out of line right there off turn 4, and oh boy, Hunter Reynolds is caught with no help to be found. He is headed backwards in a hurry.
On board with Sean McCarr, as you can see, the 26 out to the outside lane by himself. Words are hard, and I'm doing the best I can. So, good grief. Dawson, I don't know about you, but I am on minimal sleep, and doing the best I can.
That's about where we're at tonight, but we're getting through it. These guys are doing a lot of the work for us, but unfortunately we cannot articulate it as they're making these moves. So, bottom line coming back to us, Zach Workman, man, again, we keep talking about how busy he's been all night. Oh, we're wrecking behind him, though. Vicente Guerrero head on to the outside wall, and it is on from there, a pile up here on the front straightaway.
Vicente in trouble in the 14. Anthony English trying to avoid a penalty getting onto pit road. Maybe a good heads up move by the driver of the 44. So let's back this up and see what happens here to bring out the yellow flag. Already in trouble. So let's back that up just a bit more. All right, here we go. Krosik already into the wall. Trouble around everywhere. Man, oh man. Wow, this is multiple issues. Let's see if I can't figure out exactly. Still not far enough. Hold on. Give me a minute. Just a moment. All I ask. All right, here we go. 63 of Logan Helton, who has gotten back on the lead lap. Contact with him and Steve Karosik. These two get into the wall. Jim Mayer and the 510 of Sanchez make contact. That's going to stack everyone up behind them. But that is not the be-all, end-all, because there was more going on as they made their way around. And in front of all of this contact, and so as that was going on, some of the drivers checked up. Vicente Guerrero and Anthony English make contact because of the checkup. Wow, what a change of events here tonight.
Yeah, it's another chain reaction. We've seen several of them tonight. Just something happens near the front of the field and it accordions its way back. And tonight it's been unlike any other track that I've seen these guys run. And it's been so strange just how far back a chain reaction can go at this specific racetrack. Even guys running 25th, 26th are not spared. And Guerrero and English really weren't in the lead pack. They were behind it. So what a strange chain reaction. Another strange chain reaction. And that's a lot of trucks that just have individual issues right there on that yellow.
Yeah, you're not wrong. A lot of trucks, individual. But they're all kind of related because as the first two trucks got together, everyone had to check up. As that checkup was happening, then the accordion effect chimes in. Then everyone starts scattering. Yellow flag gets thrown. Anthony English and Vicente Guerrero make contact. And oh my goodness, away we go.
Yeah, and I can't imagine that's the last time we're going to see something like that either. Because the closer we get to the lap 100, to the white flag, to the checkered flag, the more aggressive these moves are going to get, the more widespread these moves are going to get, per se. More guys doing them, bigger moves, more dicing. It's going to get more and more intense the closer we get to the end of the race. So I can't imagine that's going to be the last time we see an incident like that happen, maybe even up here at the front of the field.
All right, so the lights have gone out on the Chevy Silverado. And the field is going to get stacked up 2 by 2, side by side. Lima, Marin, Workman, Butler, Fritsch, Mann, Nagels, all trying to figure out if they can win this race or not. All right, Dawson, we We took a Monday off, but now that we're back, they are doing all they can to make us pay for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just thinking the same thing. They're making us work for it tonight. But it's just a product of the new racing that we have in the trucks, and it's so much fun. It can be difficult to call it sometimes because of how much can happen at one time, and you all have seen that as we have the first few weeks that we've seen this specific truck drafting package. But man, it is so much fun. And even at a track like this older Daytona configuration, these guys are putting on a heck of a show. On a bumpy configuration, you would think maybe they would have to tone it down. I would argue that they're almost racing a little bit harder tonight than they have been, and it's working. And they're having to wheel the truck, and man, it's been a lot of fun, and I'm excited to see how this race ends, but still a little ways to go before we get there.
All right, so field stacked up, big line down on the inside because they all topped off the fuel. Silverado down to the inside. Here we go. Green flag is out. We are back underway once again.
And you see Sebastian Marin's going to let Zach Lima up in line. And again, Zach Workman says, okay, for the second race start in a row, you guys hang me on the bottom. I'm going to go take the space. This time he's got Zach Fritsch and Cody Nagels in tow. So maybe a little bit of a mistake there giving up the bottom. Let's see what Workman and Fritsch and Nagels can do. And don't look now. Hunter Reynolds and Logan Helton and Richard Sanchez. And there's one other truck there. I believe it's Casey Gilchrist. Third line is already working, headed into turn number 3.
Working lap 73 of 100 this race. Starting to get down to the final quarter of the event. Keep in mind we will use 2 attempts at a green-white checkered if we need to. But so far, I have no indication that we will need to use them. And I also give classes on how to detect sarcasm. Just call me at 911.
Well, yeah, the way these guys are racing, we are most definitely going to need both of those attempts, and let's see if they prove me wrong. But they've just been slicing and dicing all over the racetrack, and you see Marin doing it now. The blocks are starting to come in now with about 25 or 26 laps to go. These guys have started to block lanes, and it's going to become more and more aggressive. And that's where you're going to see some of those incidents happen at the front of the field. 3 by 3 by 3 up at the front. And Hunter Reynolds has come from outside the top 10, and he leads the race. He's back to the point, and he drops down in front of Marin into turn number 1.
Multiple rows, 3 deep, side by side by side. Onto the backstretch they go. Hunter Reynolds has the advantage for the moment as we are down to 26 laps to go. And Logan Helton, who has struggled to get back on the lead lap, has wasted no time to let everyone know he is back on the lead lap and trying to take away the race lead.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised at all. Our first looks at Logan, or my first looks at Logan Helton a couple of weeks ago, he's so good at picking the right moment to take a run, to make a move, to jump out of line. It's such a great racecraft from him to be able to get to the front. And like you said, he wastes no time at all. He says, I worked to get back on the lead lap. Now I'm going to make you guys pay for letting me get back on the lead lap. He slides out of the third line for now, but he's slotted himself pretty well inside the top 10. We got a little bit of a pack split. There's a second pack, about 6 truck lengths behind the main group. We'll see if that comes into play, especially when we get to this green flag pit stop here in the next 6 or 8 laps.
Riding on board with the 88 of Gabe Butler. And you can see that second group just behind everyone that is in this first group. So Butler has that Bulls Deep machine right behind him, and 24 laps to go. I'll tell you what, it is everything that we would hope for here tonight.
Well, absolutely, because it's a balance now. There's 2 different races that could happen from here to the end. Either a caution comes out where we are in a window where we're not going to have to pit again, or this rolls green on a green flag pit cycle and strategy ends up winning the race. And we'll see. We'll see if we make it to that green flag pit cycle. The way they're racing, I'm just not so sure, but we will see as these guys just flip-flopping the lead, and you can see the pushes are getting more aggressive now as Workman and Fritsch, Reynolds and Marin, they are locked on, trying to make everything they can. Marin, for now, controls the field with the help of Reynolds.
Sebastian Marin in the 23 is our race leader. Zach Workman in the 19 digging hard on the inside line. He's got that yellow line protecting him on the left side. But man, you got to manage your speed. You got to manage your energy. One of the things I talked about early in this race, managing energy. And what that means is, you know, at the start of this race, we saw these guys slicing and dicing and making some big moves. Now they all look like they've settled in and just trying to get that push that they can. So it seems like they've decided that the line that they're in has to form up and push them versus trying to make something happen.
Well, it's a balance with the way that this race is now. It's a fine line where you do need to make big moves every now and then, and we've seen some guys profit off of those, but at the same time, you have to have several trucks in line to make it work, and you all have to be maybe not actively pushing, but especially the third truck in line can push now. That did not used to be how we raced trucks for a really long time. The doctrine was you do not push the second truck in line. Now you can freely do it. And if you're not doing it, your line's not going to move. That's why you see some guys that can really make a line move. And the example I'm going to use is Cody Nagels. He is so good. We've seen him the last couple weeks about being the third truck in line and helping a line move. He's doing it right now on the back of Hunter Reynolds. Look at how close he can get to the 26 here off of turn number 2. Same with Zach Fritsch on the bottom. That's how a line moves now. The game has changed, and you have to do it differently. You have to manage your energy, like you said. But those two especially are so good at doing just that.
On board with Cody Nagels in the 6 as he is behind Hunter Reynolds in the 26. Coming around onto the front stretch, going to have 20 laps to go this time around. And I'll tell you, Dawson, this field doing all they can to keep us entertained. But there are a few trucks that have been at the front this entire race. Zach Workman, Zach Lima, and Sebastian Marin, just a few of them.
Yeah, really, it's been more than a few. It's been a lot of the usual suspects, like I kind of mentioned earlier. Hunter Reynolds has become one of those guys tonight. I keep raving about how well he's run tonight's race, but you really can't say enough. He's just making all the right moves at all the right times. He's got help from Nagels now. Here we go, KR. I think we're getting close to some pit stops. Guys are starting to jump to the bottom, starting to jump down to the yellow line. I think we're starting to get towards that part of the race. So strategy is going to be a big part of this finish.
Absolutely. Each and every time we get into this situation with 19, maybe 18 laps to go, strategy is going to be huge because you have to time it just right and get into that pit lane with a big group, with a group that can form up not only hitting pit road, but off of pit road. And then you got to hope that the green flag stays out.
Yeah, and on this pit stop, it's going to be really interesting to see how early guys decide to pit, because you have to time it right, because you have to account for 2 green-white checkered attempts as well. But you also don't want to take... You could theoretically take less fuel and make it to the end, depending on how late these guys decide to pit. It just becomes a game of who can get the extra half a second, because as we've seen several times, half a second can win the race. And so it'll be interesting to see how long some of these guys stretch it. Maybe someone decides to gamble, come a little early, flip the track position. It's going to be very interesting. I am excited to see what these different strategies are, as we are really getting close to it now. All but about 6 or 7 trucks are lined up on the bottom. We are getting ready to see what could be the money stop. here with just about 18 laps to go.
All right, no one making the break for pit road this time. But I'll tell you what, next time around, we are well within that fuel window. And Dawson, you still have to keep in mind, we do use 2 attempts at a green-white checker.
Well, and that's where it's so interesting on this pit stop, and where I would almost run maybe a few laps longer. I obviously hate to give up the track position, but at the same time, you lose a few seconds, but you're also good. You don't have to look at the fuel gauge if we go to the extra laps there after regulation. So it's a gamble. If you decide to pit early, you get track position, but also you could be coasting to the end of the race on fumes rather than with any fuel in the tank. So we're going to see here the next couple laps. Still no takers though, so we're going to get to close to 15 laps to go before anybody decides to make their last pit stop.
All right, once again, we do another lap. And I'll tell you what, next time around, I do believe that is the I think the next time around is where everyone goes, all right, that is one green-white checkered attempt. And so they want to try and save as much fuel as possible. They'll hit pit road this time, and those are the ones who expect to have one green-white checkered attempt here tonight.
Yeah, we'll see. Of note, Cody Nagels is hung on the outside right now. He cannot get to the bottom, and his group is the one pitting. Well, nope, I was not right. I thought for sure his group was pitting right there. We do have some takers, though, near the back of the field on pit road. They're the first to bite the bullet and come down pit road with 15 laps to go.
So Jim Mayer, Peter DeBorges, Jimmy Reynolds, Richard Sanchez, all hitting pit road. But Zachary Lima stays out. So Lima currently leading the charge as every other truck on the speedway is hugging that yellow line. They are expecting to hit pit road this time. We'll see how it plays out. And here they come on the pit road.
Oh boy, it's a busy pit road at that. We'll see if we get through this without incidents. Lockups everywhere on pit road right here. This is most of the front of the field. Who can get the extra half a second? Now it's no longer about how much fuel you put in the truck. It's how fast you get on and off. Who's got the best execution?
All right, that being said, Jim Mayer in the 95, who had pitted last time around, up to speed, or at least somewhat up to speed, might have something to say about this as he is making his way through the tri-oval and now has to start working his way around everyone who hit pit road. But man, I'll tell you what, this 95 looking good right now.
Yeah, they're going to pass quite a few of the lead lap trucks, or excuse me, the first pack trucks. They are going to blend with this first pack. We'll see where they cycle out. It's going to be inside the top 10, I believe. So good call by Jim Mayer and DeBorgia and those others that pit with them. Great call. What could be a call that gets them in contention. They are a little ways back from the lead group. So we'll see if they can catch this. This first 6 truck breakaway is about a second, maybe a second and a half in front. And so we'll see. Can we get one pack, or is this the 6 cars that are going to decide this race?
All that being said, and Zachary Lima in the 1 holds on to the race lead because he found a way to get all of that speed and momentum on and off of pit road.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, if you're the group from 7th on back, you may be kind of kicking yourself right here, because with the front 6 lined up, I just don't know if you're going to be able to catch them. We'll keep an eye on it. But right now, to me, it doesn't look like they're gaining any ground. This is a formidable front group of trucks right here. Obviously, in a few laps, once they get to racing, maybe that changes. We'll see what the time splits are. Nope, still about a second and a half difference. So, unfortunately for 7th on back, your bed may be made unless you get a yellow right here.
All right, 12 laps to go. Having a yellow flag come out right now doesn't really change anyone's plans, right? But I don't know. It stacks the field up. I like how we're spread out right now because nobody's trying too hard to pass anyone. They're all worried about getting single file and catching the group in front of them.
Yeah, it's less about strategy and it's more about mindset. Because if you're in this front 6, obviously you're thinking, okay, well, I only have to go beat 5 trucks to win this race. Obviously, if you have a teammate, well, we only have to go beat 4 trucks. Maybe they work with us instead of the other 2. It's a lot less complicated than if you have a 20 truck pack and you're having to think about everyone around you. The second group, though, I don't know if you noticed it, KR, I think they're closing in. This is about to be a much bigger race for the win than just 6 trucks.
Yeah, that second group closing in very quickly. And Jim Mayer in the 95 has now caught up to the 04 Mark Mann. And here we go. We now have a bigger pack for the race lead. 11 laps to go in this race.
It's kind of odd. I don't think the front pack necessarily lifted, but it was weird as the 1 and the 23 kind of cycled to the back. I'm not sure what that was about. Oh, 3x3. We are wiggling all over the racetrack. Hunter Reynolds had to catch it there in the middle of 1 and 2. And now they go right back to the lead. That's so odd to me that the second group was just able to kind of drive up to them. I did not think they'd be able to catch them. So all of a sudden, this just got way more interesting. Logan Held and Zach Workman, they're gonna rim ride up there against the fence as Reynolds blocks the middle off turn 4.
3 wide racing. Gonna have 9 laps to go this time around as they make their way through the tri-oval. Logan Helton in the 63 after being multiple laps down here tonight. Working that outside line, got a little bit of a shove, hard to handle, but he and Zach Workman keep those trucks underneath them. And my, oh my, this race really starting to get intense.
Yeah, just like we thought it would, and just like our 2 stage breaks did, except this is starting a little bit earlier. Still 9 laps to go, still so long to go in this race. And so we'll see. Maybe if they're going to get too aggressive too early, I don't know. There's some moves being made right now that I don't know if they're going to be able to get away with it for very much longer. We'll see. Peter DeBorgia, by the way, has made his way into this as well. In the 40, he tails this pack. Casey Gilchrist is in this pack, as well as the 47 machine of Richard Kuhn. So some guys maybe that weren't up front earlier, they've made their plans right here at the end of the race. They are in contention to win this. Every truck in this pack could win this race. Oh, for long,
big trouble.
Further back.
Down the back stretch, trouble has broke out. Caution flag comes out. We ride on board with Jimmy Reynolds as he tries to navigate all the way through this and manages to make it happen. So let's figure out what happened here to bring out this yellow flag. Richard Kuhn getting a piece of this. And man, I don't know about you, but this is going to stack everyone up once again.
Yes, it is. And some unfortunate guys that picked up pieces of this. I think obviously the most unfortunate being Zach Workman after the race he's run. How busy he's been just caught in the wrong place right there. Lucky for him, I do believe he did not get much damage. And also, we talk about guys maybe being out of contention due to an incident, but now I've noticed you can pick up a considerable amount of damage and still be up to speed. So it's not necessarily a fatal blow like maybe it used to be. And that's going to change things too, because those guys that just got in that, they're not out of this yet either. Really, no one on the lead lap is out of this at this point.
Yeah, this race is far from over. And you can see just how quickly things can change. And this will stack the field up. It will put everyone in the same group, so to speak. And I don't know, man. Oofda. Here we go.
Yeah, here we go indeed. We got some takers on pit road. Richard Sanchez, Jim Mayer, Pete DeBorgia, Adam Kilday, Sean McCara, Gabe Butler, Dan Harrington among the drivers that have made the trip to pit road. You start to wonder, did the lead group pit a little too early? I thought they were saving right there early under the caution, and in fact, some of these guys still are. Boy, you start to wonder, did they maybe pull the trigger just a couple of laps too early now? They're starting to look at the fuel gauge thinking maybe they don't have enough.
All right, let's go down the list. Sebastian Marin last on pit road on lap 86. So 15 laps away from the end of the race, or our normal scheduled distance race. Normally scheduled distance race. I don't know, man. It still could go either way.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, I'm trying to base it off the last time I did a race of this type with the kind of fuel tank these guys are running tonight. I don't know, it'll be really close. It tends to be about 14 to 16 laps tops. So if we get into green, white, checker territory, it's a lot like 2 weeks ago where we thought maybe the leaders were going to be close on fuel. Instead, they all make it to the end, and maybe that's the same tonight. Maybe it's not. It's the great thing about fuel strategy. It makes you think about one extra thing here with just a few laps to go in this race.
All right, so Sebastian Marin, Hunter Reynolds running 1 and 2 right now. And we're going to see Sebastian Marin looks like he's making the move to the outside. We're going to get the green flag with 4 laps to go. Keep in mind, should the white flag drop at any point in time, that is going to do it. Everything from there on out is basically every man for themselves.
Yeah, and that's essentially what Sebastian Marin has said. It's already every man for himself, because instead of lining up with his quasi-teammate on the bottom, Zach Lehman, the 1, he's decided to go to the top. Now, it does bring him away from his teammate, but it also splits up Cody Nagels and Hunter Reynolds, who have worked together all night. So some strategy, some gamesmanship from the driver of the 23, hoping it pays off for him. Although I don't know if I would have let Hunter Reynolds have the bottom here on this restart, because we've seen the bottom roll so well in 1 and 2, and Zach Lima has been such a great pusher. I don't know. I see what he's going for to split those guys up, but he's got to hope it works out for him once they get onto the back straightaway.
'23 of Sebastian Marin, the 26 of Hunter Reynolds. Right now, they are out in front. They have been some very fast trucks all night tonight. The 6 of Cody Nagels has been a bit of, or has been through a bit of trouble. But regardless, he is out in front of this field in that second row. So keep your eye on him. And not only that, but you know, Kevin Nagels had his first run. So Cody wants to make sure that he's not upstanded by Kevin.
Well, no, and he's got 4 laps to make sure his performance is just a little bit better. As Marin gets the green flag, he looks for the help from Nagels. He does not get it. And so now the inside line's got some more organization. This is going to work out for Hunter Reynolds. Now Marin's got some help. But how well does the bottom roll through 1 and 2? 4 trucks down there. Reynolds, Lima, Helton, Workman. Top side is Marin, Nagels, Mark Mann. And don't look now. But the X factor for Hunter Reynolds is fourth on the outside. That is Jimmy Reynolds, who has made his presence felt at the front at the right time. He's got to get to the 26. Let's see if he can weave his way through and go help out the 26 here at the end of this race.
Richard Sanchez trying to make something happen in the third lane. He's got a few trucks behind him, but can they make it work? Here we go. Oh my goodness. Things are getting tight. 3 laps to go in this one.
And we are wrecking, and then right as I said it, it's Jimmy Reynolds. He went to block the top side. It did not work. There was contact made at the edge of the tri-oval. So I saw Reynolds, I saw Sanchez. There are several trucks involved in this a little further back. And all of a sudden, we will re-rack them for our first green-white checkered, and now fuel starts to get interesting up front.
All right, our first attempt at a green-white checkered. Now, I do think everyone planned on one attempt at a green-white checkered. They hit pit road on lap 86, or I should say that was the first group to hit pit road was on lap 86. The next group, they hit pit road on lap 94. The group that hit pit road on lap 94 has more than enough fuel. So, Dawson, if I were to say lap 86 or lap 94, who's going to win here tonight?
Well, if the guys that came in on lap 86, which is obviously your front several trucks, that's Reynolds, that's Marin, that's Lima, that's Nagels, that's I believe Logan Helton, Markman, Workman. If those guys do end up having enough fuel to make 2 laps here at the end of the race, I would say it would be from that pool of drivers. They've been so dominant tonight, especially these front 3 or 4 trucks have just always been up front. So I would not be surprised to see it be them. If they do not, however, if they have not planned well enough, maybe coming a few laps later is going to end up working out, or for some of the guys further back, and even guys that may come right here, because again, 2 green-white checkers, that's 2 more opportunities for cautions to come out. Maybe a guy further back drives through the smoke and ends up winning this race.
All right, well, somebody somewhere has to win this race, whether it's at the front of the field or at the back. I will say the only driver I can safely say is not going to win this race out of the 32 trucks who started, and that is the driver who has scored in 32nd. That is Dave Hunt. He has only completed 3 laps here tonight. Everyone else, I still think has a shot at winning.
Yeah, and just the way we've seen this racing go, it's been so interesting to see the comers and goers and guys that end up at the front, guys that slip maybe a little bit. There's some guys that have put themselves in position to get a big win tonight, and a lot of storylines, so many storylines. I mean, we talked about the drive that Hunter Reynolds has had. We talked about the drive that Sebastian Marin has had. We talked about the work that Logan Helton put in. Don't look now, he's 5th on this restart. He's definitely in the mix. You have guys coming from back in the field. Mark Mann from 28th, Zach Workman from 27th, Richard Sanchez from 30th. Stephen Miles, he's in 10th. He came from 25th. So many different strategies and storylines playing out, and all of those trucks now have a chance to win with just 2 laps to go.
All right, catch your breath, breathe in, breathe out. I'm talking to the drivers, Dawson, not you and me. Also, probably you and me. You know what? I'll tell you what. Breathing's important. Yep, gotta do it. You know where I'm going with this? Or not. As a driver myself, I have to focus on my breathing. Otherwise, I wear myself out if I don't get enough oxygen. We are within the final few moments, the most stressful moments of a race. So you have to breathe, you have to relax, you have to start trying to make the best decisions that you can.
Yeah, it's one more second to just reflect and decide, okay, here's what I'm going to do. If this happens, here's where I'm going to go. You commit to it now. It's not something you can decide last second. You're deciding it right here. And the first decision is Hunter Reynolds, and he has gone to the top to pick up his teammate. And we got to see, because I had them scored as Nagels in third. So we'll see if he jumps down to the bottom right here. He's actually up top behind the 26. I think he's supposed to be where the 1 is currently. We'll see if they sort it out, or if they're just going to start like this.
I'm feeling they're going to start like this because
I
once
think
that field
so.
is set.
Yeah, I thought for sure Nagels was third, and he was going to line up inside, and they were going to do the same thing that Sebastian Marin did last restart and split the teammates up. But no, looks like we're going to have teammates lined up on the bottom and on the top. So the restart, really, all of us have kind of been looking forward to when we've got teammates lined up ready to go on this restart. We've got a fun one incoming. Some of the best of the last few weeks are at the front with a chance to win. They're going to lay it all on the line right here. This is going to be a lot of fun with some very, very, very good racers here at the front of this field.
All right, we are in our first attempt at a green-white checkered. Should we need to use another one, it has to happen before the white flag is shown. So here we go. Hunter Reynolds, Sebastian Marin on the front row. They're going to fire it off once again, and let's see how this plays out. The Chevy Silverado off of the racetrack. Green flag up in the air. Here we go once again.
It's going to be another case of really holding our breath and watching through turns 1 and 2, because it's made so much difference as to who gets the lead by the time we get to the back straightaway. The bottom tends to roll, but if the middle can hang, as Hunter Reynolds has done, you can tell just how much speed they're going to get. It's going to be Reynolds out front off of 2. Nagels and Mark Mann are tucked in for now. How long do they wait? How long do the guys on the bottom wait? They're leaving. Those two on the bottom are leaving quite a bit of track open for Logan Helton. He's not taking it yet. Side by side, nobody up top quite yet, at least not in the first 7 to 8 rows. We have borderline tandem drafting off of turn number 4. Reynolds, Marin, Lima, Nagels, Helton, Mann. Coming back to you, KR. White flag.
White flag in the air. That means we are going to end this race next time around. Trouble as they get through the tri-oval. They are stacked up, crashing, and into turn number 1 they go. However, Sebastian Marin and Hunter Reynolds still have a race to decide for themselves. Not going to get the yellow. We are going to go all the way around. Big move from Logan Helton in the 63. Can he make something happen? He's trying to make it 3 wide. The 26 of Hunter Reynolds has the lead. Contact behind them. Sebastian Marin trying to hold on to that race truck. Hunter Reynolds on the outside. His momentum is broken. Here comes Sebastian Marin. He has Lima on his back bumper, and they are going to cross the start-finish line. Sebastian Marin wins the Bumpy Road 250. How about that? Sebastian Marin, Zachary Lima ending up 1 and 2 throughout this whole race. Each and every time we look, these 2 trucks were somewhere near the front, and now they finish 1 and 2.
Yeah, what a night for those guys. What a drive by both of them, but really Sebastian Marin, and he'd been looking for this one. He finally gets him one here on a Monday night, especially. What a win for that guy. I can't imagine he's going to be anything except just extremely excited when we talk to him here in a few minutes. Several of these guys deserve props, more than we're going to get a chance to talk to tonight for their drive. What a race by these guys, but especially now, what a win for Sebastian Marin in the 23.
All right, so while they all celebrate, let's go ahead and go through our race results here tonight. Sebastian Marin, Zachary Lima, and Hunter Reynolds, your podium finishing drivers. Then it's Richard Sanchez and Cody Nagels rounding out the top 5. Zach Workman, Zach Fritsch, 6th and 7th. 8th place goes to Peter DeBorgia. Sean McCarron, 9th. 10th goes to Richard Kuhn. Tyler Miller, 11th. 12th, Gabe Butler. 13th, Vigente Guerrero. And yeah, I said it. I said Vigente. Been a minute, but I felt it was necessary for no reason. Logan Helton in the 63. I know he finishes 14th, but man, did he have an uphill battle here tonight. And a solid 14th place finish going to go a long way for him. Brian Wang 15th, 16th, Jeff Crosby Sr., Les Levy in 17th, 18th place, Nathan Warren, Andy Brigante 19th, 20th, Jimmy Reynolds, Jim Mayer 21st, 22nd, Casey Gilchrist, Adam Kilday 23rd, 24th goes to the 44 of Anthony English, Steve Karosik 25th. A tough finish for a truck that had showed so much promise in the beginning. Mark Mann in 26th, 27th, Stephen Miles, Matt Wagner 28th, 29th goes to Dan Harrington, Eric Laurie 30th, 31st John Guerrero, and Dave Hunt finishing in 32nd spot. So with all of that being said, Dawson, our race winner, that is the driver of the 23. That is Sebastian Marin, and
I'll tell you what, they are down there now.
Yeah, I found it. Good.
They haven't made their presence felt. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna pull him up here, and you got that interview, man. Take it away.
Yes, I do. Sebastian Marin, it's the boys in the booth. You got us?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Wow, what a heck of a finish. What a heck of a drive for you guys there at the end. Take us through it, that last restart. How'd you guys get through all that mess there on the last lap, and how'd you get to victory lane there?
To be honest, right there at the end, just got lucky that obviously didn't get involved in that big wreck. But of course, it was I had to be out front to have a shot at the win. So man, that race kind of had a little bit of everything. Tried staying out front throughout most of the race. Got involved in a few accidents here and there. Still had my fast repair there at the end, and there at the last restart, you had two teammates up top, and then me and my teammate at the bottom. So the middle was definitely the preferred lane. So I wish we could have been there, but at least I had my teammate behind me and not another driver. So I felt safe him being behind me. And then entering turn 3, I think just everybody just pushing, not lifting. And just, the truck's getting a little squirrely. And then I think I got hit in the door a little bit, which then caused my teammate to get hit. And then he was just trying to catch his truck. And then it was just a chain reaction from there. And luckily, my teammate didn't get cleaned out, because if he did, I was not going to get to the finish line first. So luckily, he was behind me and gave me that last push to get us a 1-2.
Yeah, and it's a great 1-2 for you guys there, for your team. And so you've got the win under your belt now on Monday nights. It goes such a long way to get a win early in the season. So, kind of explain it to us. Like, what does this do for your mindset the rest of the season to have that win under your belt so early on here in the running?
It kind of, I'm not going to say I'm going to be carefree, because I'm not, but it kind of lets me be a bit more aggressive, take a bit more risk, because I know I got that win and I know I'm locked into the playoffs. So that definitely open up the books a little bit. It's not going to change much, but maybe I'll be a bit more aggressive, knowing again that I'm locked in, and I'll be trying to help my teammates get a win so they get locked in as well.
All right, well, last thing for you here before we let you go celebrate with your teammates. Any shout outs, thank yous you want to give here after your win here at Daytona?
Yeah, shout out to my Dale Cup Games teammates, Steve, and especially Zach there, for giving me that last push to secure the 1-2, because without him, I wouldn't have gotten that. So a big thanks to him. And a shout out to you guys for putting on the broadcast. We are most likely going to be rewatching the race back after this. We kind of made that a habit of ours, so that's going to be fun rewatching. And shout out to OP for putting on this league and for running the trucks. I love the trucks a lot, so I'm enjoying the racing so far this season, so I can't wait for the remainder of the season.
All right. Well, I imagine we'll be talking to you very soon. Congrats on that win, and enjoy the celebration with your teammates.
Thank you very much.
All right, there you have it. Sebastian Marin, our race winner. But I have caught up with our second place finisher, and that is the driver of the I don't know what to call it. Zachary Lima. Is it an I? Is it a one? What are we doing here?
Listen, it's both. All right. It's both.
Both?
Yeah.
So
it's a one
so
and
it's
an I.
it's I one I one I.
Yes, sir. Number one team tonight.
Well,
Worked
nice
out
job,
perfect.
man. That machine get you into second place and a solid shove to Sebastian Marin. Tell us a little bit about your race, because that truck was bad fast all night long.
Yeah, man. It was a fun race. It was hooked up with the Dale Cup most of the night. Steve, unfortunately, couldn't make it there at the end. Got wrecked out. But that last lap was coming to the line. I was able to just capitalize on whatever happened on the back stretch, and I gave Seabass a push, and we got that 1-2.
Well, start to finish, this kind of Red Bull machine paint scheme, I1I, you have been up front all night long. When did you know that you had a shot at this race win?
You never know on SS. Most of the time it's to get taken out at the end anyway. But I think that was our last opportunity, or that was our last green-white checker. If we had one more, me and Seabass didn't have enough fuel to finish. So once I seen that white flag, I knew I had something coming to the last lap, and it worked out great. So got that 1-2.
All right, man. Well, nice job getting that finish here with the 23 and the I1I. I don't know what to say anymore. And man, nice job. Shout outs, thank you, that you would like to give.
Yeah, man, just got to thank Dale Cup. And, it's to Cody, it's the number one. To everyone else, it's the I, So thanks, bro. Thanks for the broadcast.
All right, there you have it. The driver who brings it home in
Cody
second
Slow
place here tonight, Zachary Lima. Dawson, we got one more to go, and I believe you've caught up with our third and final step of the podium.
Yes, I have. Mr. Hunter Reynolds, it's the boys in the booth. You got us?
Howdy.
Well, man, a heck of a drive from you. Not enough we can say from up here. Just watching you make all those moves, slice and dice all night. You come home third. Take us through that last restart. What did you see, and how do you feel about your result tonight?
Yeah, I mean, it was still a good race. I mean, I set pole, which was pretty good, or really good, I should say. And pretty happy to come home with third. But, dude, I thought we had it, man. Starting up top, I got my teammate behind me. We kept them clear throughout the last 2 laps. If we would have had another caution there and went to another green-white checker, we would have had to come and take gas. So that worked out, too. Everything was looking all good until some shenanigans. I don't know what happened. Some people hitting each other, and Cody and I got separated. But yeah, I mean, Cody did all we could. I mean, Cody was pushing good and held a good line, but Seabass got the best of us tonight. And I was a little bit more aggressive tonight, which I think was more fun and paid off for me. So yeah, we'll come back strong next week.
Well, absolutely, and we've seen you two guys get better here as the weeks have gone on. And you said it tonight, you were a little more aggressive. So, where's your guys' mindset at as a team? We've seen you improve. We know you can be up front. Obviously, you guys know that now. So, where do you take this momentum from here going into next week?
Yeah, we'll just ride it. Just go, foot on the gas. That's how I like to race. I want to be out front and putting the pressure on some of these guys. So. Yeah, I don't think anything changes. We're going to try to be out front, and obviously clean racing but hard racing is what we try to go for, and worked out tonight for some of the boys. Maybe we can get other teammates, Vincente and my dad, up here with us, and have a good team finish next week.
All right, well, one last thing for you here before we let you go. Any shout-outs, thank yous you want to give here after your third place finish?
Yep, all the boys back at Limitless. Thanks all you guys. Thanks my dad. Appreciate you guys have been in the booth. Do a good job. Like to thank everybody else for watching and supporting. And y'all have a good night.
All right. Well, congrats on that 3rd place finish, and hopefully we'll be talking to you soon.
All right, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Dawson, I'll tell you what. I don't know about you, but man, I'm ready for tomorrow, celebrating the 4th of July, and my weekend was spent at the racetrack, and tomorrow I get to light stuff on fire. Dawson, what do you got, man?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I'm ready for the holiday too. It's such a great holiday every year, and obviously hope everybody has fun celebrating tomorrow. Enjoy the day with friends and family, especially. Man, what a race tonight! You can't say enough about these guys. Every week it's something new. It's been so much fun. I mean, I hope that everyone watching can tell how much fun I'm having, how much fun you're having up here, because these guys, they put on a heck of a show. They're going to keep doing it for us. And I'm excited to see where the season goes. We're only 3 weeks in, and we've seen so much already. I just can't wait to see where we go next.
All right, absolutely. So, guys, thank you very much for joining us. Hope you all enjoyed the show, and we will see you all next time. So, until then, y'all stay safe and have a great night.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.